Hello everybody, this is Tara here for my blog today. I just want to go on a rant to get out internal ickiness that I've been feeling. Forms. I'm just going to say that word, forms. I hate them. When you have a child with a disability, you do nothing but fill in forms for everybody. And they're really detailed answers that you have to put. Or they're oh, you need to write a bit more so we can get a better understanding of your child. So it's like writing an essay for each question, which I find extremely difficult. I've been out of school for a long time. I'm class of 2003, so I've been out for a long time, and I have a hard time focusing. It's a hard time to focus when you have a child that you have to try and keep an eye on because they have a disability. So it's one thing that medical professionals didn't think about, that when you have a child with a disability that you have to watch 24/7, but to take time to actually sit down and fill in forms, that's hard. And don't say do it at nighttime. It's hard to do it at night because you're tired. You need sleep at nighttime. So, it's just difficult. So if you have a child who you think might have, some kind of complex needs, or you're new to the process of statementing a child for school, if you live here in Northern Ireland where I live, then I'm going to tell you all about it, just so you can be prepared. This is the second time that I've had to go through this process. I went through it before with my son Tristan, who attends a special needs school. A statement of educational needs is basically a step-by-step how to teach your child, basically. So it's everything that is written down in this report is what the school has to do to help your child learn educationally. So that's why it's important that you write every question. Like, for example, I'll give you, so they ask things like, what concerns do you have? Obviously, that's an important one. About their general health, physical skills, self-help, communication, their relationships, behavior, learning at home, things like, how do you think your child, or what do you think your child's educational needs are? How do you think we can provide them? How does your child compare to those of the same age? It's things like that. And they expect you to really give good detail, because what happens is with this that you fill in, this actually then goes into the statement, into the big giant booklet, I guess, I don't know, that you have for your child. So that's why it's important. This will stay on their statement forever. So you have to, usually I get someone to write it, I write it down in a notebook. This is, just in case you're going through the same process and you're not sure what to do. What I did with Tristan and what I am doing now is I have a notebook, and I've just written, written the questions down so many times, scribbled out. So the problem I have is I have so many things in my head, and trying to get them down on a piece of paper in the way I want it to sound in my head, I find very difficult sometimes. So I write them down here, and then what I do is I get a family member, like my sister, to handwrite it in the actual form, because my handwriting is atrocious. I'll say it's because I'm left-handed, but I don't want to be offended any left-handed people. It's just because I have terrible handwriting. So that's what you do. You do a test run, because they're so important that you answer them in every detail. They need to know exactly what your child goes through, the hardships they have, so they better can form a better plan of what the school can do to help them learn. It's so important. So that's what I do, and then you finish it on the form. And just so if you want a better look to see what a finished product of a statement looks like. This is Tristan, so this is here, it's all disheveled, but this is Tristan. So see, look at how thick that is. So that's all Tristan's, that's his full statement. So this took about a year before it was finalized. So, the school then has to go through everything they say that Tristan needs to learn is all in here, and they have to do it. So again, it's really important. And not only do you have your opinion in it about your child, what happens is when you go through the process, the education authority will ask every single medical professional, the GP, the occupational therapist, behavioral therapist, physiotherapist, the pediatrician, everything, the health visitor, every speech therapist, I can't believe I forgot that one's an important one, every single thing, every report, from them will all go in here. So they need every single report from all of those people, and it goes in the final copy. This is why it becomes very thick. So by the time you have all those reports and everything that you have written and everything that is written for then what the school has to do to help the child learn. So this is what you have in the end, this big beautiful thing here. So this is a finished educational statement for Tristan. So it's a little bit different. The questions are a wee bit different than I was just sort of, the reason why I have it out is I was checking the answers that I had written for Tristan. One sort of asks about what do you think their educational needs are? Well, obviously Tristan's different because Tristan isn't as severe as Mackenzie. So obviously I did write that he does need one-on-one. He needs to be in a special needs school, a teacher who has patience and time with him because he's trouble talking, learning, and understanding. So, but with Mackenzie, I more or less wrote, can't be bothered looking through the book, but I more or less wrote that Mackenzie needs to be in a special school, but for children who are severe, that she needs teachers who specialize in communication through Macatone and pictures, and teachers who have great patience, because Mackenzie, God bless her, she can't speak. Obviously, it's going to be hard work because she has absolutely no communication and she has no desire to communicate. So, they're answered completely different because even though both my children have disabilities and both of them are on the spectrum, they are so completely different. We're like Tristan seen someone new come into the house or someone come near him. Tristan would have went like boogaloo. He went absolutely crazy, screaming, crying. He'd bite himself. He'd bite me. Try and bite the person. Mackenzie, she's so in her own world, she doesn't notice, like, right away. Like, if someone was to come in here, like, if the health visitor, even if my mom was to come into the house to have coffee and Mackenzie's in the kitchen, she doesn't notice that the person's here. So she'll, like, act like there's no one, just me in this house, in the room. So in that way, that's when they're different. Now, but when she does notice you're here, that's when, again, she will try and push you out. She'll hit you, she'll bite, she'll start screaming and throw meltdowns. So it is a little bit different for Tristan and Mackenzie, even though they both have autism. It's just she's a bit more severe. So, and, his problem was he tried to communicate, but I just couldn't understand a word he was saying. That's why he threw all those meltdowns, and I just didn't understand what he was saying. With Mackenzie, there is no communication. There is no attempt to communicate. So it's different. So even though, anyone could say, well, why didn't you just write the same stuff down that you wrote for Tristan? Well, I can't do that because they're different. They're two different kids. So anyway, enough of all that. So I should be filling it in. I've sort of finished the questions, but I don't think the questions are answered the way I want them to. So I need to go back and do it again. But if you are new to this, you will get it done. I got it done with Tristan. I never thought I would get it finished. And I did get it finished. And then once you receive, that very thick booklet, it's such a relief off your shoulders, because then he's going to school. They've got a plan. They know what they're going to do to get him to learn. And that's just what I need for Mackenzie. So I need to get it sorted. I've got my coffee on. I'm going to finish it and then try and get my sister to handwrite it into here, and then ship it off. And then, hopefully the next step is just finding out what school she gets into. So I have a preference of a school, but I know sometimes it doesn't work like that. So we will see. So that is the big one, is the next big step is actually getting the phone call saying your child has got into this school. And then it's like, oh my God, my baby's going to go to school. So there you go. Filling in reports. That's one thing that you have to learn to do well, because you do it all the time when you have a child with a disability. And it's not just for statements. You've got to fill in reports for occupational therapy. Before she's seen occupational therapy, they have a whole big thing. Why do you child needs to go? Speech therapy, health visitor, behavioral therapy. I had to fill all that stuff in as well. It's just so crazy. And it will be more. I'm quite sure of it. Because I'm still doing the same thing with Tristan. Anyway, that's my video. Signing out. Bye.